Hi everyone! Before we begin, I have some important announcements. After giving it a lot of thought, I decided to make major changes to the tutorial. Um, Instead of simply translating an old course I recorded over the past few years, I am creating a brand new one, designing specifically for Unreal Engine 5. But that's not all. We will also take full advantage of tools like MetaHuman, Mutable, and others that have been released recently. I know some of you were just getting started with the previous tutorial, and I understand that this change might be unexpected, but trust me, it's totally worth it. It's been almost 4 years since I designed the original system, and now there are so many new technologies that can take our development to the next level. So, I'd rather make this adjustment now while we only set up the basic instead of later when things get more complicated. And here is a quick summary of the changes. We will remove Unreal Engine 4 because it doesn't support Mutable. We will remove Advanced Locomotion System as the movement one for obvious reasons, and third-person project from Unreal Engine 4. And we will add to the tutorial MetaHumans, Mutable, Morph Target, and the new game animation sample as the new movement system. And the major change in our system will be related to Mutable. In the old one, we use databases and we let our component to manage all the changes. But now we will create a master mutable object, and we will use our component to change certain parameters on each mutable object instance. You will see it like a material instance per character, and basically we will let the Mutable plugin to manage everything related to mesh, material, and texture. You will see it's actually a great plugin. We will still use some databases, but they will be incorporated inside some kind of material functions. Remember material functions from the materials? Well, in Mutable you have something called object groups, which are basically the same but different. And inside those you can actually link databases, and it's a mess, but we will use database inside the Mutable object. You will see, okay? It's completely different. Okay, to begin, we need to add a few things to our system. First up is Game Animation Sample, which is a pretty heavy project. You can download it directly from the launcher and migrate it to your own projects, but make sure to check the requirements and the configurations files first. What I usually do to check the requirements is to open the project file in a text editor. Look at the dependencies directly, and then on your project download any necessary plugins first before you migrate everything. If you're afraid to open the project file in a text editor, I will just leave you here the necessary plugins that you need to enable on your character creation system. But as you can see, there are quite a few plugins here, including some related to MetaHumans. And this one here, called Airstrand, isn't available for download. However, after searching in Visual Studio, I found some reference to it. I can't say for sure if it was integrated into Unreal Engine 5, merged with another plugin, or just hidden somewhere, but it's there. For now, just edit your uProject file carefully and be very careful with commas and brackets. Now, once you have added all the required dependencies on the plugins, you need to edit the .ini files located in the configuration folder. If you are starting from an empty project, it's best to delete your existing .ini files and replace them with those from Game Animation Sample. Then make sure to edit them so that the paths are correctly set. If you, however, have, I don't know, a more advanced project that you want to use as a base for the character creation system, which is something that I don't recommend, you will have to edit the ini files in the configuration folder manually. Please pay attention that in those ini files you have collision channels, you have inputs, you have tags, and you need to add all of those because Game Animation Sample just won't work if you don't add all those tags, inputs, and etc. You need all those. Okay, once everything is properly configured, both the plugins and the config files, you can migrate the GAS project content into your own project, to the content folder of your own project. In my case, before migrating, I place all the files inside a folder called GAS. This not only makes migration easier, but also keeps everything well organized with my character creation system. Another thing I want to add during the setup phase is MetaHuman Light, since it saved me a lot of time. This step is optional, you can skip it, but I still show you how to do it. The process is very similar to Game Animation Sample, or similar to what we have already done with Game Animation Sample. First, you have to download the project from the launcher. Second, you need to check its dependencies and install any necessary plugins. Third, you need to compare the .ini files and adjust any settings as needed. And last, migrate the content into your own project. In my case, I place all the files inside a folder called MetaHuman Lights, so I can easily access them in future lessons. Keep in mind that this is not a beginner-friendly tutorial. Managing project files is something you should already know how to do. That said, since this is the first time we're working with this setup and we have made such a major change to the tutorial direction, just this once, I will allow you to download the project up to this point. The file is large, as it includes Game Animation Sample, which weighs 3.64 gigabytes. Inside this project, I have already added the female mannequin as a retargeting options in Game Animation Sample, and I also include it in the selection widget. I am not sure if we will use it this way, but just in case, I wanted to test that everything was working properly. I also added MetaHuman Lights to the project and set everything up so you can use it directly in future lessons. See? No plugins, no ini files, everything is already set up. Again, I recommend you try doing it on your own. If you have problem migrating the files correctly or configuring the dependencies, feel free to download the file with everything already set up. But please, try the harder way first, because that's the only way you will really learn how to do things properly. I won't provide you with additional files in the future other than what I consider necessary for the class. So try to do everything by yourself. If you can't, just in this case, you have the file to download. Alright, now that we have almost everything we need, there are two important things left to do. First, enable the Mutable plugin and add a MetaHuman. Well, actually two MetaHumans. Enabling Mutable is pretty simple. Just search for it among the plugins and activate it. If you want, you can explore some of its extensions, but with just the basic one is more than enough. Regarding MetaHuman, you can use anyone you like, but in my case, I'm going to edit mine to add morph targets in an external editor. You can use Blender, Maya for that, or whatever software you prefer. For that reason, I will provide the MHB files for my two MetaHumans, Roy and Liz, in case you want to use them as well. Link is also in the description. Importing MetaHuman is very simple. Just go to the MetaHuman panel, click import and select the MetaHuman file you want to add to your collection. If you want to use your own MetaHumans in the tutorial, you can. However, I will only edit my two MetaHumans, not those of other users. So, if you are not familiar with Blender or Maya, I recommend using my MetaHumans. The meshes with more target that I will provide later will only be for Roy and Liz, not your own MetaHumans. Please keep this in mind before deciding to work with your own models. And finally, before anyone asks, "Hey Martin, why don't you share the MetaHuman files within the project along with Game Animation Sample and MetaHuman Lights?" Well, the answer is actually quite simple. First, because you are not required to use mine, you can download your own MetaHumans. And second, and probably most important, is because the license for sharing MetaHuman is very strict. And while I will do it for educational purposes, it's always better to avoid any issues and have you download them via Bridge. Alright, we have everything ready. Let's get started. First, we're going to modify what we did in the last class, since we will be using GAS and MVP to handle the pawn's movement. This won't be an issue as I have thoroughly reviewed the system and for now there are no hard references to any movement component. Additionally, we will take advantage of all the retargeting files included with GAS to preview the pawn's movement, regardless of the skeleton being used. In Game Animation Sample, GAS, for now, they use a setup similar to the one I showed in my 2020 modular character tutorial. Basically, they use an invisible or hidden mesh to handle the movement, while a delegated mesh is responsible for visualization. The difference is that GAS uses a special animation that copies the pose and retarget based on tag information. So, we're going to do something similar. We will modify the same structure, adding a root mesh that will manage movement. And under it, we will place the visual meshes, which will be controlled using the new Mutable component. First, we need to delete the scene array creation and rebuild the setup from scratch. So, it's gone. For the mannequin, there are two nested skeletal meshes, and for the metahumans, two set of 3 nested skeletal meshes. Give me a second and I will show you. Four skeletal meshes. Select the root and add 4. There. So this will be a mannequin, a basic mannequin. So we add another skeletal mesh. This 1, 2. There. This will be a metahuman. So we add a skeletal mesh and a second one. So we have 3. And the same here. Be careful. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, one time. This is one set. 1, 2, 3. This is another set, and these two are two sets of 2. Okay, and name them exactly as I'm showing here. Okay, so it will be mutable Roy, Roy body, Roy face, mutable Liz, Liz body, Liz face, and for the mannequin, mutable UFO female with a female mannequin body, and mutable UFO male with a male mannequin body. Okay, so I will pause here and do it in this part. Okay, look at this. We have the mannequin here, another mannequin. This is a metahuman. This is another metahuman. Okay, we have 4. These 2 here, these 2 here, 3 here, and 3 here. Okay, there. You don't need to copy the exact name, but well, I'll leave you there so you can check it. Okay, for the first 4, these 4 right here, the one which are higher in the hierarchy of meshes. Okay, the first one, we need to set the mesh that will be hidden later, and we will use for that here this one. Okay, the UFM mannequin skeletal mesh component. Okay, so select this one and add it here, add here, add here, and here. Let's compile and save. Okay, if you check it, you have it 4 times. Okay, next is to add an animation here where we'll use an anime class, and to be more specific, the one that the CVP sample character is using, which is this one here. So click on this one, add it here. You can see that now you have 1 moving and 3 static. Second, third, 4. Okay, the next step is completely optional, but I will do it anyway. As you can see, there is no collision preset here, basically, but the no collision preset is enabled. So I will go here and check that. In fact, we have a custom collision preset, and I want to replicate it. Let me see if I can just copy and paste. I don't think that it will work. Yep. Okay, custom query only, no facing collision pawn. Wait a second. Pawn and vehicle are ignored. So pawn and vehicle. What I want to know is why I can't do a paste. See, for some reason the pawn and the vehicle are not copy. Copy here, vehicle pawn. again, I don't know that this is actually necessary, but I want to try to avoid any possible conflict with the ABP Sembo character blueprint. So there. Next step is to hide the mesh. Okay, so for example, over here, if you go to any of this one, you can see that the original mesh, the one that have the UFN mannequin, is actually hidden. Okay, it's not visible. So we will replicate that. So let's hide all the 4 that we have here. There, you shouldn't see anything. Okay, now for the male, let's use this one. Okay, the male mannequin. There. And for the animation class, the generic retouched animation. You can see that there is not moving yet, and that is because game animation sample work with a set of tags. Okay, there, this tag. You have to copy this thing, and in our male mannequin body, the one that now have the male mannequin, here in the bottom, let's search for tags here, add a new one, and paste, and look, it's actually working. The reason for that is because if you go to retouch it, you can see that it's actually updating the blueprint initialize animation based off the IQ retarget map, and in this map you have all the possible IQ retargeter based on tags. So for Unreal Engine 4 we use this one, for Unreal Engine 5 this one, for Echo, Twin Blast, MetaGamas. Okay, so the same goes for the female. Okay, you have the film mannequin here. So let's close this, let's close this. In our creation pawn, in female mannequin body, select the female mannequin, add it, the generic retouched there, and finally the tag. In this case we have just one tag for male and female, just the same as the Unreal Engine 5 mannequin, there is no different there. And you have the 2 mannequin moving, but as you can see all of them are visible. So okay, before we continue, let's fix this Goro character we have here with 4 arms and 4 legs. Okay, now before we fix it inside the switch character visibility, we need the array, because remember that we're using an array here. Look, this is different. Okay, drag this one, this one, this one, and this one. Okay, these are 4 skeletal mesh, so this is an array. We need another one. We need an array of skeletal mesh components. So drag from here, make array. 1, 2, 3. Promote to variable. Let me check the name. This one, SMC underscore array. Colors to node. allow me to create SMC array. And here connect the input and output this. And now connect to sweep character visibility. Okay, now we have our SMC array, and we need to recreate all this. So I will do something different. Let's move this. Let's create everything from zero for each loop. Not equal, and actually, to avoid any problem, instead of an object, this will be the same type of this four. So it's a skeletal mesh component. What am I doing here? Okay. Skeletal mesh component say. This one. Change parallel type, yes. There. And now see, yes, this is just copy and paste of the last class. Set visibility. We need to the top one propagate to children, the second one visible and propagate to children, and it's already. Okay, let's fix the enum. Let me check here at enums. Okay, human male, human female, mutable row, mutable is. And here we have human male, human female, and we need two more. Let me check mutable row, mutable race. Now we have the four ones: male, female, right, Alice, and the same as the last class. We need to pay attention. The first one, mutable male, U4 mutable male. This is the human male. There. Okay, there. Okay. And if I click compile, I can see the male mannequin because wait. The male female, sorry, the human male, but we are also seeing the parent, the UFM mannequin, because even if we have just set it to be hidden, not visible, the problem here is that this function now is actually set it to new visible and propagate to children. So this is the problem. We need to set the top one and propagate to children. And you may ask, why we just not select this one here? Well, because we don't know how many stuff we will add below this thing. Okay, I don't know. So I want to be sure that all the children of this one are visible. So I need to check. I need to select this one. Okay, check the visibility and propagate to the children, to all the children. We will add things here dynamically. That's why we are selecting the parent one and not the second one. So to avoid this, what we can do is, after we set the new visibility and propagate to children, we can just hide the one that we just have set it to visible. Okay, but Martin, you are setting something to visible just to hide it. Yes, but in this case we will not propagate to children. So for example, let's suppose that we have this one and we have 5 meshes here and some mutable object and all kind of stuff. We check the first one because we don't know what is below this one. Show this one and we propagate to children all of them. And then we check the first one and hide it without propagate anything. Okay, I think that you understand what I'm trying to say. So when I compile, this is the one that we can see. Sorry, I have my voice is completely broken. Now female, it's working, but we won't see anything here because we don't have anything. So let's do that. But before that, we need to do some things here and here. Let's open the retouched version of a mutable character. Okay, give me a second, where is it? Here. Retouched characters, let's open Killan. And as you can see, we have the mesh, which is hidden there, and then the body. And the body, it has the retouched, so we will add into the body there. And what's next? Okay, here, tags. MetaHumans. A MetaHuman there. So let's change the body. Be careful, body not face. To this thing here. But let's check this one. Okay, yes. IQ map has 2 entries for MetaHumans, one for the normal and one for the overweight. We will use the normal one. I thought that there was one for male and one for female, but no, it's one for normal and one for overweight. So here our raw body will have the NRW, which means normal, and the list body will have the same one. Okay, the NRW, which is the normal. Okay, and finally we need the face, and for the face here we don't have a tag, it's not needed, but we have the face and MVPC, this one, which we will just copy here and here. There. Okay, to see if this is actually working, we need MetaHumans, and in this project I don't have any. I forgot to import them. So give me a second. I will just where is it? There. I will just import them. Okay, here I have my Roy character and my list character. These are my 2 MetaHumans. So to check that our code is working, let's check for the body, this body, and Roy body, select it here, and Roy face, select it to Roy face. And with list body, this feminine body, inside list body, skeletal mesh assets, and list face, this one, list face mesh, our list face. There. Compile, save, and let's see. Mutable Roy is working. Mutable list, and it's working. Okay, now we have just recreate all the code of the class, so we are exactly at the same place that we were when we finished the last class, and I think that we have already 30 minutes, so we need to do something. So clear the mesh, okay, the mesh only, not the name class, for the Roy body, the Roy face, the list body, the list face is okay, so it should be empty. Okay, so mutable list is the skeletal mannequin of UFN. List body is empty, list face is empty, but keep the anim class, and in the case of the body, keep the tag. Same for Roy. No skeletal mesh, no skeletal mesh for the face. For the body, we have the tag, and we have the retarget for the body and the anim VPC for the face. The same here. Okay. Why we will not set the skeletal mesh asset? Because we will use mutable. Okay, so now we need to start with mutable finally. Okay, before we start with mutable, I forgot to add something, so let's do it quickly. I duplicate the buttons. We have the R and L from Roy and list. Now just duplicate and change the letter. You can see that I also enable the input, okay, on click for R and L, and set for R is Roy and L is list. And I also add this code here that we will use later, because it's basically to add a play button to lower the default level. The default level is this one. We'll do it later. So now that we have these 4 buttons, if we hit play, we have male, female, but we can't see anything because we just have cleared the mesh for our Roy and list character. Okay, let me see if I can show you here. We are selecting Roy. Roy doesn't have a body and doesn't have a face. That's why it's not showing anything. So just that, 2 buttons, and set the, just copy the code here and select mutable Roy, mutable list. Okay, welcome to Mutable, a character optimization plugin from Unreal Engine. This is everything. This is everything that you got. This is everything. This tutorial actually covers all the basic stuff, like you have this parameter, you have this node, you have this state. You have only a few examples to cover all the potential that Mutable has to offer, and I want to emphasize that Mutable is huge. So the thing that you can do with Mutable, I really don't think that you have a limit. You can make characters, you can make ships, you can make airplanes, cars, wherever. It's big, everything, the performance is great, but this is just in beta. It's just a beta plugin. You could expect performance issues and all kind of troubles. So this will be your wife, your husband, your girlfriend, your friend, your enemy, your dream, the reason of your pain, of your nightmares, the photo that you will put in your mirror to hate every day, that's mutable. And that's everything that you have. If you go to Unreal, you have only 4, 8, 10 tutorials, and this is for January 27, 2025, and you can read Mutable is still in beta, and it does contain bugs. It's in beta, really. Developing with Mutable without Unreal Engine support, without a direct line with Epic developers, is probably a risky bet. If you want to bet, do it. If you go to YouTube, you can find 5-minute tutorial, 13, 23-minute tutorial, 9-minute tutorial, and all of them just say, hey, this is mutable, great, okay, you can do this, that, and that's it. There is not more than that. I think that in the forum this was something, let me check if I can find it. Let's put it in English. It's in English. Mutable. Mutable. Okay, found it. There. Thanks for your interest in Mutable. Unfortunately, the team does not have bandwidth to provide support to the community with the forum. So this is all we got. So it will be a hard trip, okay, a risky trip. I think that the reason why no YouTuber actually make an in-depth tutorial about Mutable is because this is still in beta, and it could change quickly. And I will show you in a few seconds when I create the first customizable object that there's a lot of things that are already deprecated, and this launch on October. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like 5-6 months. And it's constantly changing, so everything that I will code for now is in beta. You need to understand that the plugin is in beta, and everything that I will create for now is in beta. Okay, so character creation folder, right click, mutable, customizable object. This is all you got. This is the only thing that this plugin is providing right now. I will call it CO character and open it. As you can see, it doesn't take much time to open it, but here we have this one. This is the advanced project, and believe me, compile this and open this takes some time. Well, I will call it character. There. And what else? I have Grooms and Rich Logic DNA plugin enabled, so you can ignore that. And the enable 16-bit one weights. This is for MetaHumans. I will show you in a few seconds. Okay, there. And we need a mesh. Okay, basically the MetaHuman mesh. But I don't work with the mesh directly. What I want to do is to make a copy. So before messing with MetaHumans, I think that here in core characters, mannequin. Okay, let me check. Yes, here, Leroy and bodies. Yes, I deleted all this folder in my advanced project because we're not using this thing. You can keep it if you want. So let's start with drawing. List bodies. Yes, bodies. because later we will swap faces or heads, so we have more than one MetaHuman character, but we will use the same body. Okay, that's the magic of MetaHuman mutable. Okay, bodies, yes, it's just the medium normal. So let's go with Roy. Make a copy of this one and place it in bodies. Copy. The same with Liz. Body. Found it. Copy. There. I have both bodies. So the face is this one. I will copy this into character creation, core character bodies, Roy. Copy here. I have my copy. Close this. Liz. Face. The same thing. Character creation, core character, Liz. There. I can close this. And now I have my two bodies and the head of Liz and Roy. Just for the time being, I will rename this because I have several meshes. I will show you in a second. I have several meshes because I have been testing different bodies, different shapes, and to avoid any problem, I decided to use the same naming convention between heads. There. Okay, I will show you. For example, here in Roy, I have overweight, underweight, short, and tall. Okay, I have different versions of everything. The same with the bodies. I was testing all this. Okay, so we have the face of the two and the two bodies. Okay, right click, new folder, mutable, call it mutable, and place this object here and open it. And here, right click, mesh, skeletal mesh, and select it, Ctrl C and Ctrl V 3 times. Okay, mail, select the skeletal mesh and select here, or I don't know, drag it if you want. The problem is with dragging is that this is also work. I forgot to say that. So you can drag it literally if you want it. That's also work. Okay, now we don't need load 1, 2, and 3, but not for this tutorial. Not for tutorial. So here in node properties, scroll down, and everything that is not LOD0, you can hide it. Okay, hide 2 and hide it. Don't worry, because we will move this thing in the next class. So don't need to worry if you break something. Okay, there, just LOD0 and LOD0, the male skeletal mesh and the female body skeletal mesh, and the same here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9. Okay, there. Basically that you need to select LOD0 only and deselect all the rest. The same for the body mesh and the head mesh. Mutable will bake everything into a single mesh with texture, materials, and it will generate everything. So you need to worry to LOD 1, 2, or 3, but probably I don't know, but I think that it will make a better shop if you provide all the LODs. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I think that this is more than enough. Okay, so we have the 4 meshes. Drag from here and select mesh section. Yes, mesh section. This one. Okay. Mesh section. As you can see, it's already selecting something, and it selects the one that corresponds to this body. Okay, so that's great. If I, for some reason, I click here and select mesh section, and then I connect this, in this case it's auto-populate the material, but in some reason it doesn't. So I think that the best thing to do this is to just drag from here and call it mesh section. Okay, there, I finish. I edit everything because this will take years if I didn't. So basically you need to apply a mesh section to the skeletal mesh, because the skeletal mesh only have the mesh information and the mesh section have the material section. There are other things here. For example, you can use a table or a data table to load all this. Before someone say, hey Martin, this is extremely difficult to work with because the node graph will be huge. The idea is that you place all these things into their own customizable object. Okay, for example, here I have one for bodies, grooms, and head for the females, and the same for the males. I don't think that we will be able to cover that in this tutorial because I don't want to make 2-hour tutorials, but at least I want to have something ready for this class. Okay, so right click, component, mesh component, and drag it and select it here. And we need 2 things here: a name, that is the name that we will search for wherever we want to access to this skeletal mesh, and we need a reference skeletal mesh. So we will use the same. Component mesh, component here. Actually, Control C, Control B, Control V. There. Let's connect this here. Same mesh here. Okay, there. This has this mesh, same mesh. This has the female body mesh here. This has the ROY mesh there, and this the list mesh. Okay, and we need a name, and this name is very important because it's the name of the component that we will search for in the blueprints. So if I remember correctly, I use male body and female body. Okay, give me a second, let me check. Male head, there, male head. So this is the male head. I don't select ROY head because I will use other heads too. So is, I think this quite logic. Female. Sorry, I want to finish this class and I'm making mistakes. Okay, female head and male head, and here I think that is male body and female body. There, so we have male body for the male mesh, female body for the female mesh, male head for the Roy head, and female head for the Liz head. Okay, we're almost there. So here's the thing. We need only a body and a head. For example, if I select male body and connect this here, and the Roy, connect this here, look at this. If I compile, there, finish preparing shader. Of course, there is no groom here, but you can see it's there. And if I connect the female one, body and head there, and compile, we have the female. So what we need to do is to switch between these four in our grouping, and to do that we will use the first parameter, which will be an enum parameter, call it gender, and the difference between the parameter that we can create now inside here or here is that this is not using for example an enum outside of this object, or at least for now. Probably they will change it later, but now you need to hard code everything. This is something that I am 100% that I will change it in the future, but for the time being we need to add the values manually. We'll add 2 and we'll call it male and female. Okay, let me make some space here, and I can just use this and make a switch, component switch, and switch between male and female. Okay, but we will store all this inside their own customizable objects, so we need to access this from outside this component customizable object. I will call it mutable object for now. So what we need to do, what we need to do is find the way to export this, and you can do this actually very easy. Just extend from here and check export enum. Okay, and I will call it render input. I know it's an export, but I will call it render input. And here come Martin with his order, and actually okay, parameters. There. So if I make right click, I can search for render. No, sorry. I can search for import pin. Import. This is an enum. Import enum. And here I need to specify the customizable object and the input. And this is where mutable starts shining. You can reference anything that you have in your project. So you can have, for example, an customizable object just for parameters, just to store parameters, and make a right click, call any of these ones, select that, and you're ready to go. It's great actually. So you say, hey Martin, it's the same. Okay, but when we move all this inside their own mutable object, we will be able to access this, not this. And because we're actually exporting this, we will use it anyway. You will see it in the next class. Okay. Mesh section switch. No, sorry. Component switch, because this is a component. Male and female. And connect this here. Okay. And I will say Ctrl C, Ctrl B. And this is the male one, so let's go to male, and this is the female, and goes to female. And connect this here. I will put order here in the next class. Those who know me know that that's a promise. Okay, so there. I will compile it. Look at the right. There. Why? Because now we have the parameter here that say male, but if we change it to female, there we have the ability to switch characters. Okay, great. Now, here's the thing. The more you add to this object, the more that you will have to wait when you compile. Okay, that's why this plugin has state and other things to increase the performance of all the system, but get ready to have crashes and long compiling times. Okay, so close it. Okay. Select it, right click, and create a new instance. There. And this is save it. Okay, and now you have it here. If you don't save it, you not store it, because actually this plugin has the ability to create this instance on the fly, dynamically, without any reference inside your project, and that's how the mutable sample project is capable of filling a map with hundreds and hundreds of characters without no more than a few customizable objects. This will be our mail, a new instance, save it, and this will be our MetaHuman female. Why we're using instances instead of the customizable object per se is because inside a blueprint you can only access and edit the instance, not the parent, the material parent, for example. It's not a material, but you get the point. So we need to work with instances, baked instances or open instances. So we need to create two, one for each character that we're going to use. We have the male one and we have the female one, but here this is the female, so we will change this to female. There, male and female. Okay, I need to finish this quick, so because we are almost above the hour. We have two ways of populating this skeletal mesh with our information. The easiest one, okay, by using a customizable skeletal mesh. Well, it's customizable skeletal mesh, so you can see that I am not the only one that cannot pronounce it. That's the easiest way. You can then select the instance and the component. The component is there. This is the component name. It is what is go inside here. Or instead of the easiest one, you can select the harder one using a customizable object instant usage, which is basically the same. What this new node does is to create this object here according to the skeletal mesh component that you want to attach it for. Here you attach it, then you select the instance, and then you select the name. It's the same, and of course Martin will do the harder one. Here at the control script, actually we can do it in the event graph, but we'll start here so you can see something. Then sequence, let's start with the mail. Right click, construct class, and the name was customizable object instant usage. All that. No, not this. The class is this one. I don't know exactly the difference between private and not private, but I use the first one. And we need to specify the skeletal mesh component we will attach this. So we will have to add it to the body and to the face. And here we'll have to attach it to the body and to the face. So we need 4 there. And then we need to attach it, okay? Attach to. Attach to. Actually make some space here. In the next class this will be stored in a function. Okay, there, attached to the raw body, this body, the raw face, and the list face. Okay. Next is to set the customizable object instance. So from here, set custom this one. Okay, I will select Ctrl C, Ctrl V. This goes here. This goes here, and this goes here. Now we have 2 instances. The mail go here in the mail one, because this will be the mail. Okay, this is MetaHuman mail. Okay, here MetaHuman mail. The female goes here in the list body and in the list face. There. Let's make some space. Finally, we need to set the component name. Okay, set component name. Yes. Actually, I will edit the video again because I need to route all this. There. And there, and set component name. Component name. And here we have to make name, make literal name. Okay, yes, make literal name. Okay, here you have everything already set up. So from here you have to attach to set customizable object instant and set component name, raw body, the same for raw face, the same for this body, the same for this face. The difference is that here is male and male, the instance, and here is female and female. And now we need to specify the component name. and I already told you that is this name here. So we have male body, this is Roy body, so we will use the male body, and this is the male head, so we'll use for the Roy face the male head, and repeat it with the female. Okay, we're back. Okay, male body, male head, female head, and if everything is done correctly, check this here, here, and here. If I compile this, so compile this, and just in case, compile this. Look at the time, and save this and save this. That's the problem in Mutable. You have to compile and save everything to be 100% sure that this will work. And now if I select Roy and compile, we have Roy here, there, and if I select Liz, we have Liz. There. Look at the FPS. This is Mutable. This is Mutable draining all my FPS. Okay, female, Roy, Liz. Okay, it's working. Okay, that's it for this class, because I can't keep it like this any longer. It's more than 1 hour, and I think that you are tired too. There's a lot of things that I didn't cover, like for example body shapes, rooms. These are the rooms, and I can here select the main rooms, which is basically air, slashes, browns, full, etc. And also I have body shapes, but I will not show you this in this class. Okay, this is for this class. I beg your pardon for the length of the class, because I wanted to make a 40 minutes, 30 minute class, but I have to fix or change. I prefer the word change and not fix. All the things that we need to work with Mutable from the start. Different with the previous tutorial, that one that I recorded in Spanish, where I started with the UI and work with the UI for classes and classes. I will start with Mutable from the very first class or the second class. So we will focus on the UI later, and I see you in the next class.